What's up, y'all? You're watching Brooklyn Shuffleboard, and we're out here for the semifinal match of our Spring-Summer Singles League. We had 64 of the best shuffleboard players in Brooklyn doing a 8-week season, top 16 going into a single elimination bracket, and we're here for the semifinals, baby. It's going to be me from the Golden Tangs versus Alyssa from the Gowanus Dolphins. Alyssa is an amazing shuffleboard player. Her team, the Dolphins, have won the championship several times. I'm actually quite nervous. But since I'm playing, I'm going to leave you guys with Missy, the #1 female shuffleboard player in the world. She's going to walk you through what we're thinking about with shot selection, kind of talk about the court drift a little bit, help everyone learn a little bit of shuffleboard strategy. This channel is for the people that have been playing at the Palms for just a year or two, want to get better, want to level up. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I will leave you with Missy. Thanks so much, y'all. Have fun. Have a fun match.
Hello, everybody. We're about to get started shortly, so bear with us as they're getting on the court. Today, it's Jeff Zev versus Alyssa Bird. I have done the voice audio for just one other episode of these, so I'm hoping you enjoy my thoughts on the game and my opinion on shots and all the moves they can make. I can see them out of sight. They're just walking. I'm not really sure what's going on, so we're just going to talk about shuffleboard today. So what happens is today what you're about to watch is a singles league that we run at the Royal Palms. It happens kind of quarterly. We have events running. All right, here we go. They're starting. Here they are coming into the frame. They're going to get started with their warm-up shots. I'm excited they're on the board because then I don't have to make small talk about random stuff and we can actually get to the game. But Adam runs our singles leagues. They're really amazing. They happen, I believe, quarterly, but don't hold me to it. We play in these larger brackets and eliminate, and then it comes down to like certain people who end up in this bracket of, 32, and then we play to the end. So today we've had 8 people playing in the final 8. Now this is final 4. All right, Alyssa's taking our warm-up shots. She's surveying the board, looking to see where the drift's at. It looks like, she's taking shots that go back and forth on each side, taking some outside shots, starting from the inside and starting from the outside. Jeff's currently checking the bottom of the disc. A lot of us do that just to make sure there's no debris on the bottom, nothing to make the disc slow down. If you wax your disc right before the game, there shouldn't be an issue, but there could be something stuck to it and you just don't know, and it might slow down your disc. The other thing you might look for is there might be a chunk of piece missing over time. These biscuits, they'll be hitting into each other and pieces start to knock off, and that can slow down your biscuit as well. So you can see Jeff is shooting from the outside for most of his shots, which is his preference. He takes a lot of shots from the outside. But you can tell he's serving that shot. What we know about this court, just from playing here, is this court drifts towards the columns. So I think he knows, he's been playing on this court for a while, that shooting from the outside is a good idea to test out because that's going to be the most tricky on today's game. All right, so Alyssa's shooting from the inside to start her warm-up shots. The interesting thing about walking back and forth is you have to remember both sides of the courts. Jeff is actually partially out of frame right now. He's writing down his notes about the court, where the drift's at. You can actually do that in the game of shuffleboard. As long as your rules allow it, you can write down the drift on a piece of paper. And that's what he's doing off to the side and the right. It looks like Alyssa's, probably just remembering where the drift goes. We play these courts fairly often, so you won't see a lot of us writing them down except for on maybe more important games. We play them so much that we generally have a good sense of the drift on these courts. So you might remember, oh, this one's when I shoot for the 10, those important shots, you might just want to remember that, but some people just want to write it down so they don't have to forget. Once again, you can see Jeff is shooting from the outside. I do think it's because he knows this is a tricky court and that's going to be the harder shot. Something else we know about playing on this court is actually shooting on the black side between the 10, kind of the top of the 10 and the outside of the court, kind of where the same peat is. There's a little bit of a bubble. So it's actually really difficult to shoot an 8. You can see Jeff didn't even shoot for a point on the 8 because it's kind of difficult to shoot for that spot. Shoot for an 8 on the right side. He knows that bubble's there, so he's going to avoid it as much as he can. All right. You can see Jeff writing down his final thoughts on the drift. And Alyssa's going to get started. Here at the Royal Palms, we play yellow, black, black, yellow, yellow, black, black. We don't play yellow, yellow, black, black. I don't know the full reason behind it, but that's how we play here at the Palms. This is going to be a 16-frame game. They're each going to play 8 frames on one color, and then they will switch. They will do warm-ups in between, so they'll still be able to do the warm-ups and see how the court is. We had a small appearance from Matt Bird, clearing that biscuit from the line because it bounced off the back of the court. That one's in. And it's just barely in. It's got maybe a quarter of an inch to it. So Jeff's lining up to take a shot. He's really focusing. You can tell he's got his eye on the biscuit. He just touches it. There is some drift there. Knowing how, there's a significant drift here, but if it gets too close to the line, it's going to stay there. But he cleared that. Alyssa's lining up to take the shot. She shoots. And it lands right there in the 7. You can see Jeff's taking a look. Lining up. Similar shot to the shot he just had. And he's lining up to take the shot. Here it goes. Ooh, and he misses that shot. You can see he's shaking his head. He doesn't like that. It's early in the game, but you don't want to be missing it. You think, I just made that hot shot right before, so I shouldn't miss this. Looks like Alyssa's lining up. She's got a good 10 there. I'm curious if she was going for the 10 or just kind of a nice block there, but maybe a little bit of both. Maybe she wanted a 10 and a block. But right now, Jeff has to make a decision which one he's going to clear or try to clear both by bumping. All right, so he clears a 10. Leaves her a 7. So that was an off-hammer score. When you're playing shuffleboard, we talk a lot about hammers. Each frame, the last person who goes, shoots, they have the hammer. That means they have the last attempt to score a point. When you have that hammer, you have the advantage. Each person gets an equal amount of hammers and the advantage. So right now, Jeff's going to start, and Alyssa has the hammer. So when you score off hammer, that's really, you're doing great because your goal is on your hammer to score. One of your goals when you're off hammer is to either score a point or stop them from scoring. All right. So Jeff put up a block, and Alyssa, what looks like went to clear it, and it's stuck. So Jeff's going to try to hide behind this. But remember, the drift's not, the drift isn't helping him here. He's really going to have to aim far, and that's a skill shot. As Jeff likes to say, that's a skill shot, my friends. So he's well hidden behind there. It's a difficult one for Alyssa to get to. It's early in this frame, so you could clear the yellow and then hope Jeff messes up the block or does something else for you to be able to hit it. You could also, she can see it a little bit, so she could try to just snuggle a point in there. She could try to clear it. All right, so she cleared it. The yellow stuck, but that black disc moved over. It's not in. It's not in. You can't really tell from here, but it does look closer to not being in, so it's not in. I always get nervous when something's on the line there because at any point Alyssa could use that as a backstop and kitchen Jeff. When I'm playing, I'm a little nervous about leaving those. Jeff went for the hide, knowing that if he were to make it, he's leaving something, then Alyssa needs to try to figure out how to remove that. But right now Alyssa has two interesting moves. She kind of has a block on the left side. She's got the one on the right where she could touch, snuggle, and try to kitchen. Let's see what she does. She's going for the hide. Oh, no. That looks in. Oh, no. It's early in the game. The best of us kitchen ourselves, but when you go for the shot, that's not what you're looking for. For me, it's a little tough, cheering for this game because Jeff is my partner, and Alyssa's my longtime shuffleboard friend. And, of course, I would love to see both of them win. All right, so she's lining up. She's probably going to use that shot like I talked about as a backstop. And what I mean by backstop is, nice shot. That was a great shot. So what I meant by that backstop is exactly what she did there. She can shoot. If you end up short, you have a point. If you hit it, you either hit it on the line softly or it ends up in the kitchen. And you're going for both. You want the kitchen and the point. But worst case scenario, you get that point and you're not going to end up in the kitchen. So that was a really interesting frame. Right now it's Alyssa 4, Jeff -10. And did you see how, when Alyssa took that shot, she had the option, she didn't have a clear view on that -10 of hers, but, some people might think, I got to clear that -10 out. I got to do anything possible to try to get that out. But no, she had the opportunity to make more scores happen on the right. So every frame you're playing in shuffleboard, you need to look at the board and say, what's my best possible scenario to score points here? And it ended up with 2 -10s and a score for her. So, yes, she had a -10, but she scored and also made Jeff have -10 points. All right. So we're on frame 3. And this would be Alyssa's hammer. Notice how we pull the biscuits off from the back line if they've moved past it. Most people do that. All right. So nice clear. And if you hear silence from me, I'm actually taking sips of my delicious Aperol Spritz. The Palms does a great job with cocktails here, and they're all really delicious. So if you haven't been to the Royal Palms in Brooklyn and you live nearby, they have really good cocktails here. But it's summertime, so I'm having an Aperol Spritz. All right, so nice clear. Jeff's lining up. He has a couple options in the shot, so I'm going to wait to see what he's doing. And that's a good 10. There's this is difficult because of the drift here. There is enough room to land that 10, but to shoot it perfectly takes a lot of focus and knowing the drift very well. It's not impossible, but you need to know the drift here. Yeah, so it looked really good for a second, but as you can tell, she had the drift well, but the way it bounced, it spun over and left her out of getting that 10 points. Yeah, that's a really difficult shot to make on this court. Sometimes if you have a straight on shot, you could have made that no problem, but with the drift here, it's really, really difficult. All right, so they're lining up again. It's yellow first. This is our 4th frame. All right. So Alyssa throws up a block. Jeff's getting ready. You can see sometimes, people are picking certain discs. It's because a lot of us pay attention to each disc and how fast and slow they are. So we have preference, and we'll even pick, certain discs to always shoot our last shot with because maybe it's the most consistent. When you play in a higher profile tournament game or a national tournament, there will often be the painted dots where it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's dots on it that count up to 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can shoot in any order you want, and you have a good reference to which disc you're shooting. Can't tell if that's in, so Jeff's going to go check. But here at the Palms, some of these discs, they're a mixture, so sometimes you're looking at them and one's painted blue, another one's painted purple, but sometimes it's like this one has like a small chunk out of it, this one's like got a little like something on it, so they're all just, like this is a bar, so we play a lot with these discs, and over time they all get mixed up, so you end up with different colors and different, varying looking biscuits. All right, so Alyssa's lining up. And keep in mind what I said about that spot. I said there's like a bubble. Let's see. See how it curved? There's a bump. There's like a bubble right there. It makes, if you're shooting slow, it's going to go to the left or go to the right. And you can see that happen with our 10. If you were to shoot faster, it does make it through, but there's this risen spot kind of next to the 10 above the 8 where it'll make the biscuit go different ways if you're shooting really slow. All right, nice clear from Jeff. That's why it's like impossible on the black side to shoot a 8 from the one spot. It's quite difficult. So Jeff has the hammer here. Alyssa's thinking, I don't want to leave that biscuit for him to, do what she did in the other frame where he hits it and kitchens her. Jeff's shooting from the outside. He's lining up. I know here he's probably trying to knock and replace it, but then do it on an angle so that it doesn't stay in by hitting the back one behind it. Yeah, exactly what he wanted. Nice shot. So now we're entering frame 5. Let's see. Okay. So they're bringing the biscuits. It's a Sunday afternoon, so, we have lots of people visiting the Palms right now. There's some people next to us, probably on a date or just hanging out, having some fun. On the right, you can see that it's the other Final Four match going on. It's Roger and Bob. I don't know the score over there, but all right, Alyssa's shooting. And the score right now is 4 to -2. So it's a 6-point game. Still got a lot of frames to see how the game's going to go. So it looked like Jeff was trying to clear that. It kind of, with the drift, ended up hitting it almost straight on and then bounced over. All right. Alyssa's lining up. She's, I'm assuming, trying to clear this. Oh, no. She's putting up a block. Or snuggling. I don't think she intended for that to go on the 10. If it did, it doesn't look in, but you can't tell from here. Sometimes we have people hanging out who can help, but right now they're just checking it out for themselves. So Jeff's lining up. I think he's going to try to hide behind all of this. Try to put something in the 7 and the 8. I think that's what I would do here. You just have to be careful of the drift because it is drifting towards the columns. All right, comes in. Oh, I think that's in the negative. I can't tell from here. Yeah, that's in the kitchen. That's what you don't want to happen. We've seen it twice now. You go for the hide. Alyssa did it a couple frames earlier. Go for the hide. You end up in the kitchen. Jeff went for the hide, ended up in the kitchen. And it's, it's not, sometimes it's just, it happens. It's not like I practiced that shot a million times. It just happens sometimes that way. So Alyssa looked like she was trying to block it up so he can't clear that -10. I think he's going to try to clear that out, knowing he has some visual on it. So Jeff's lining up. He's laughing. They were laughing because I don't think she meant to do that. But he's lining up, taking a look, trying to get that perfect shot to be able to clear it. And this isn't easy with the drift. Like I said, everything drifts to the columns. So it's doing a heavy drift to the right. So you got to aim. All right. Oh, he cleared it out. It almost looked like it didn't for a second. So Jeff's got the hammer. Alyssa's got her shot here. She can either go on the board, high 7, or just put up a nice block and stop him from scoring easily. Looks like she went for the high 8. It's a high-ish 8. There's a little room, but there's some room to hit that, maybe leave it in, hit it, roll to the right. Jeff's lining up. He's shooting from the outside, and he's shooting. And he makes it in. See? Yeah. So he gets that point. He hit it and then rolled over. That was a nice shot. Sometimes I come to the Palms and try to practice that. It's something that's not always going to happen, but to be able to go for it and try and know how it feels when you try to roll something over is something definitely you need to practice. It's not something that comes easily. And here, depending on the speed of the courts, here we have a little bit more, it's a little slow, so it might roll over and stick, but I know when it's a faster court, it may be a little more difficult to do that. All right. So Jeff was, I'm assuming, trying to put up a Tampa. It's a little to the right, so Alyssa could hide behind that, and with the drift in her favor, it could work in her favor, but then Jeff could be hiding behind it, so it looks like she's maybe going to go for that. She's lining up, thinking about her options. She shoots. She clears it. So you can see how she was thinking. She went over to her left biscuit in the 4 spot, took a look, and then I think ultimately she chose to clear it because it's early in the frame. So Jeff's going for a similar shot. I have a feeling that weird patch area is probably playing into it. It's not going exactly where he wants it. So Alyssa tries to clear that again. It sticks this time. Jeff's going to try to hide behind it. Let's see if he makes it. We've seen this play out 2 times before this, and they ended up in the kitchen. Not saying that this is going to happen. I think when that happens, you learn how to pull it back and you adjust to the speed, knowing that was the feeling. When you kitchen yourself, you remember, this is what it felt like to kitchen myself on this court, so I need to pull back and adjust to the speed. All right, so that score is in. Jeff's got a good 7, and it's pretty well hidden. Kind of at this point, you can clear that or try to also hide behind it, but I think clear is the way to go. All right, so she cleared that. Jeff has the choice to put another score on the board somewhere on the court. He could block it up with the high 8. He's lining up. He's looking at the court. He's focusing. And he shoots. And he did not make it. I feel like he might have been trying to go for more of a 10 on the right to be a block. But when you go, or if he was going for a high on the left side, it's just, if you don't make it, then you just leave that shot open to be cleared, just like Alyssa did. So it's 4-6 right now. It's a pretty close game. 2 points. They still got 10 frames left. I know when you're at the halfway point, you kind of got to check in and think, where are my scores going, like how much score difference, but it's a pretty tight game, so this game might come down to the last shot or even overtime. All right, so they're writing the score, making sure. And yellow, black, black, yellow, yellow, black, black. So Jeff's going to shoot right now. It's funny, I've been playing shuffleboard for 9 years, and I still sometimes have to go down the board and say that order of appearance of yellow, black, black, yellow, yellow, black, black, yellow. Sometimes I even have to, just look at the board. We do little marks. So, all right, so good clear. Now, Jeff's lining up, and he's aiming on the right side. He's putting up a Tampa. It went a little far, but I think he's trying to vary his blocks to see if Alyssa will mess up. That's a strategy you can do is, you can do St. Pete, St. Pete, St. Pete, hope they mess up. But you could do St. Pete, Tampa, St. Pete, but a little deeper, see if they, mess up clearing. I know I do that, depending on the game and who I'm playing. He's now left with this. He can try to hide behind this. And that's what he was hoping for, since it's not his hammer. Ooh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Not perfect, but with this drift, it's a little difficult to get to that. But there's a little bit of she can see that a little bit. I know when I'm shooting at these, if I see something like this, I'm gonna aim for it, but I'm gonna aim on the air of if I clear it out, it happens. But I'm not gonna shoot. I'm going to make sure I don't just whiff it entirely. I'd rather accidentally clear that top one than shoot too far where it just whiffs both those biscuits. So he's going to try to hide behind this again, which, knowing a good player, they'll make this shot again because they just took it. All right, he shoots. Ooh, that's nasty. All right, so that's Jeff's tag phrase, but it was nasty. It's interesting. Alyssa's looking at it. I think I'd just go on the other side. I don't think you're going to be able to get this, but maybe she just wants to score on the left side. Ooh, close. No, now watching that frame play out, I think she was shooting, hoping she might touch it, maybe knock it out a little bit, but no, I'm going to score this point. Just because of how well hidden it was, I personally would have went on the right side and just hope for an 8 or 7. The score is now 4-14. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at what they wrote on the board. 4-13. Sometimes when you're adding up these scores, we all went to school, took something higher than just adding numbers. But when it comes to shuffleboard, you're like, these points matter. I do not want to mess this up. And then you'll be looking at it and someone will still just be like, that's added up wrong. And you're like, are you kidding me? So I spend when it's an important game, not on league nights or whatever, but I just make sure it's right. And if I'm ever off, I just have somebody check it. But simple math. But when there's a game on the line, you just you don't want to mess up. All right, so this frame has started. It's the last of the 8 frames on these color pairings, so Alyssa's got the hammer here. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Jeff's got the hammer. Alyssa shot on the board that doesn't look in, but Jeff is shooting and clearing it out. He left it on the board, and Alyssa's a good kitchen player. I wouldn't doubt that she might try to kitchen this. You can tell she decided which biscuit she wanted to shoot with, and she's lining up. She takes the shot. Yeah, that's kitchen speed. A little too fast, but she was going for it, which means if Jeff leaves something here, she's going to go for it again. And after they finish this frame, they'll switch colors, so it's the last frame to kind of know I got kitchen speed on this. Because after you switch, the other biscuits might be faster, slower. You might have different drift. You just don't know. So if I'm Alyssa, I'm putting a score up right now. Yeah, that's what she did. I'm sure going for a high 8. It's a little deep. It's a mid 8. So, Jeff's going to at least try to knock and replace this. Is he going to go for the knock and replace and kitchen? He's up by 9 points. I think it's a nice to have, so I'd go for kitchen plus here. Make sure not to hit. Oh, nice score, nice score. So I think that was kitchen plus. What I mean by kitchen plus is just you want to hit that biscuit, you want to score on it, you want to send their biscuit into the kitchen, either in the kitchen or past it. You do not want them to end up with a score in the 7 by touching it too softly because you're focused on that -10. And I do see, I mean, I've done this. I've seen it happen to people. You're lining up for the shot. You're like, this feels so good. I'm going to kitchen them. Oh, my gosh, I love kitchening people. and you shoot it too soft, and you end up getting a 1-point advantage. You get an 8, they get a 7. All right, so they're going to take a little break here. I think I might take a little break too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's up? We are here with Brooklyn Shuffleboard. All right, so they're back from the break. It's nice to take a little break between these, not too long, just, to get a drink or use the restroom. So they're warming up. As they're warming up, I can talk a little bit about what I do when I warm up. When I approach the court, even if it's a home court or it's any other court, one, I'm going to look at the biscuits first. I'm going to take a look at the shape that they're in. Are they brand new biscuits? Are they old biscuits? Is there any, wear and tear on them? The ones at the palms, because some of these are being used during every day when, parties are here. Sometimes on the bottom there's, a little, chip out of it. When I'm looking for those items, that means they might be a little slower or it just might, handle a little bit differently. The other interesting thing is if you come across pristine biscuits that are held for tournaments, they're labeled with the dots. There's 4 dots on the top of the biscuit, and they're labeled 1 colored in dot, 2 colored in dots, 3 colored in dots, 4 colored in dots. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And often, the way that people shoot these biscuits, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 in order, because they think that's an easy thing to remember. But sometimes I believe I read this in a book, it's the 4th biscuit will be a little faster because people only reserve it for their final shot. So it's usually their hammer shot. They're not really hitting across other biscuits, knocking into things, being dragged across courts. So that's something interesting to keep an eye out for. The other thing I'm doing is, personally, what I love to do when I come across a new court, and I personally would love 8. Sometimes you get 8 warm-up shots. You get 2 for speed, 8 to warm up. But if I only have 4, I'm taking 2 from the inside, 2 from the outside. I start on the outside. I shoot cross court. I want to see what the speed handle's like, what the drift is like cross court, and then aiming for a 7, and then I'll shoot from the outside and score into a 7 as if I'm going for a Tampa Hide. What these 2 indicator tells me is what it's like shooting from the outside generally. Are there any major drift happening? And you'll see sometimes it'll go all the way to the right, and then I know, okay, I got to score, when I look at that biscuit over there, I got to aim to the left a couple inches over. The other 2 shots that I'll take is I'll go on the inside. I'll shoot an 8 on either side, depending on how I feel. It kind of comes down to the drift on the court, or if I just want to have a good 8, on my side. So I score an 8, and then I'll go for a 10. And why I go for the 10 is that's a shot that a lot of people don't warm up for. There's a 10 on the board. They don't know what the drift's like. So if a 10 shows up, you're I know how to handle this. And I'm not going to let them get that point. So, for example, if you're warming up, they're going to start playing now. But say at the end of this game, Alyssa puts up a 10. Well, I warmed up, and I know what the drift is like, so I'm going to score that 10. So I think it's really important shot that a lot of people, don't think about because they're trying to check out the court or just try to get their 8s set up. But you'll have time to figure out those 8s as you play. All right, so the game has started. Just a reminder that it is 21-4. Jeff is up. He has 21. Alyssa has 4. All right, so he puts up a block. Sometimes when you switch colors, depending on how the game's going, you can use it to your advantage to try to put something up on the court, but it really comes down to personal preference and risk. But if it's drifty, they might miss clearing it because that it's, and that's good, that's a 10. They might miss clearing it because they don't know the drift yet. So there's you only really get a frame for those mistakes to happen. But as you're playing the game, a lot of us, there's many things going through our head. We're thinking about, the drift, the speed of our biscuits, but also something that you can pay attention to is how the other player is playing. Are they only shooting from the inside? Are they only shooting from the outside? Are they only going for 8s on the right side? Because then if you put up a high 8 on the left side, they might not know how to handle that. Are they, if they're only playing one side of the board, play the other side because they haven't been playing it and they might not know how the drift is or what speed to kitchen you at. Oh, that's a nice hide. So I say it's a nice hide because this is difficult to get to. Knowing the drift on this court, I don't even think I'd try to go for that. I'd probably just score on the other side. But she's lining up. She's thinking about it. You can tell. Or you go for it and you still try to score. But, yeah, see, she got that point, which is great. But it's really difficult to reach that, especially when the biscuit blocking was slightly over to kind of that inch can make a difference. All right. So you can see Jeff's trying to make sure to bring the correct biscuits over. We're playing closely, so sometimes they get mixed up. And they're looking at the colors, trying to make sure they're grabbing the right ones. Because if you bring in a biscuit, a different biscuit halfway through the game, it might be slower, it might be faster. And that's the difference between kitching yourself or missing your score. So it looks like they got the right ones. All right, so it's 28-11. And this is the 10th frame of the game. Jeff has the hammer here. Alyssa's lining up and shooting. So she's going for a block. Hoping that Jeff might mess this up and she has the opportunity to hide. I was talking to Adam, who's putting on this whole event, and we were talking about how this court, we do think that it's a yellow advantage court, mainly because of the drift and also because of that spot that we talked about that's kind of sitting at the top of the 10 and the 8 on the right side. Just with those, there feels like there's a slight advantage to yellow, just a little easier time scoring your points and navigating the drift. And also, because the drift is going to the right, you can kind of swoop in and hide versus going against the drift. All right. So Alyssa's going on the board. She shot for that 10. And like I said, it's a great shot to shoot for a 10, not only for the points, but if the other person doesn't know the drift, they're going to miss clearing this. They're not going to be able to score in kitchen on that. And then maybe it ends up being a hide for you to go behind. So Jeff's shooting. That kind of looked like speed to clear it out. So I don't think he meant to leave that there, and he's shaking his head. I can tell he's pulling on his drift chart, looking at it. So that's what Alyssa just did there. She put up the 10. Jeff messed up clearing, and now she's going to hide behind it. So she shoots. Great shot. Perfect 8. You can't really get to this. You can tell, it's funny. Jeff does some head shaking, so I know he didn't like that. But, of course, he's going to go on the left side to shoot and score. And it's good. It's good 7, good 8. But that was excellent play by Alyssa. She's trying to get points. How earlier in the game I talked about stealing someone's hammer? She essentially did that here because she scored an 8, he scored a 7. Ended up being almost like she gained a point in that frame, and it wasn't even her hammer. If he would have missed that shot, she would have made the full score off hammer. So it looks like it's 35-19. And Alyssa's up again. Jeff still has the hammer. All right, lining up. And this is where, so right now it's a 16-point frame game. And if you're down at this point, 16 points. A lot of people say 15 points in, I got to be aggressive. I got to go start for kitchening a bunch of stuff. It's interesting, seeing how Alyssa played that last frame. She wasn't doing that. She was going for some blocks, hoping Jeff would mess up and try to score behind it. You know, I think playing the kitchen game comes down to how many frames you have left. You can sit there and count your hammers and think, if I steal their hammer and I score, can I win this game? So that's why sometimes if you jump right into hammer, you know, like trying to play the kitchen game only, it might just be a mess of a game and then they end up scoring. Or, you know, you're playing this kitchen game and then they end up kitchening you. All right, so Jeff's thinking right now. You can tell he's kind of thinking about his options here. Because right now, even though that biscuit didn't make it in, it's still something that Alyssa could turn into 2 points. So do you block it up? Do you try to hide behind the yellow? It looked like he blocked it up, so she couldn't score 2 scores on that. And now Alyssa's taking a look. She needs to score points, so it's like you really just got to be thinking about what can I do to get good points here. All right, she lines up. Oh, bummer. Bummer. That is not what she wanted. So that left it in. It's actually well blocked, I think. You know, Jeff's taking a look. He's thinking, what should I do here? Should I try to score another one behind it? Double up these points. That one's well hidden. She could try to go. Actually, she could try to hide on the other side, but it's not great when it's her turn. You know, I'm not sure what he's doing here. Maybe just trying to block it up. Ooh, interesting. So I don't think he's smiling. I think that was one of those, you know, sometimes I make a shot like that and I turn around and I go, I'll take it. It ended up being really lucky. That's a perfect hit in 8 and 7. And you could cause chaos here. Try to hit your black into the 8 and hope it just knocks into the 7 and everything goes out. And let's see what she did. Okay, so it ends up just clearing it. Those are really difficult shots. I actually sometimes, I think I would have, knowing me because I'm like this, I think I would have taken the point on the right side because it was kind of hidden. Because I'm not good at that, making everything bounce around. Wow, what a frame for Jeff. This is a 22-point frame. I don't know if other shufflers call this, but if you get 4 points, like you got one on the 7, the 7, the 8, and the 8, it's rare. But we call that a pepperoni. Because, you know, the shuffleboard card looks like a square, triangle, and it looks like pizza. Is that a New York thing? Let us know in the comments. Do other people say this in other states? I would love to know. What do you guys call it? All right, so Jeff's protecting his lead here. He talks about this often if you were at the Royal Palms. He's up by a significant amount of points, so he threw that first biscuit off. He doesn't want anything for Alyssa to be able to hit into the -10. So he's going to try to clear this here. He shoots and clears it. So this is probably a bit of a kitchen game. That 22 points is rough. That's hard to come back from, but it's not impossible. Yeah, clearing again. Right now you're just hoping they mess up. You can see, though, she varied. She went on the right side. Now she went on the left side. Now she's going to probably shoot somewhere else that she hasn't made Jeff clear yet. Center line, perfect shot. This is a great spot to lure people because you barely play the game there. You don't know what the drift's like. All right, well, Jeff cleared it perfectly. It's nice when they stick that. I know I get excited. I love to throw that up when I need to play the kitchen game. All right, so she throws up an 8. Good score. And, you know, she was hoping for more there, but at the end of the day, it was her hammer, and she got her 8 points. So that'll put her at 27. So it's 57 to 27. That's 30 points. Not impossible. They got 4 frames left. It's doable. Difficult, but doable. In some ways, that's probably a good shuffleboard phrase. Difficult, but doable. I might start saying that around the club. There's some frames. I think one of my favorite scores ever was I scored like 25 points on a team, and it definitely, we were playing in a league game, but those 25-point matter. You know, we were down by a score, and it's just enough. It was towards the end of the game, just destroyed the game. It's like we won. It's like you can make those scores just depending on how things happen. All right. I also have other embarrassing shuffleboard stories that don't have to do with 25 points. I have been one time kitchened twice, like somebody kitchened me twice. That was a bummer. So they got 20 points on me. All right, so Jeff did exactly what Alyssa wanted here. She's playing the kitchen game. She's going to try to hit it in the kitchen so she can score more points. She lines up. Oh, no. Oh. All right, so that's not what you wanted. That's a, when that happens, you had perfect kitchen speed, but you missed the drift. What's really interesting about that shot is there's drift there, so I don't know if it was just like her lining up or it just went away that she didn't think it was going to. Jeff put up a block. It's a good thing to do here because he's still protecting, but he doesn't really want him to kitchen. What an option could have been is like he leaves that there, then she tries to kitchen it again and clear out her own. So he's just blocking it up again, just basically not letting her kitchen any of those biscuits. She's probably going to go for a score on the left side. She lines up. She shoots. Good eight. So 2 8s. And a new, Hero 4 came over, and they're learning how to play. They start playing, and basically our scores on the scoreboard. And we they rolled back our score because the scores for each quarter next to each other. So then we started playing again, and then we come back and we realized they were raised again. So then we're laughing. We're this is so funny. But if it was an important game, that'd be really annoying. So we just said, hey, guys, it's a Friday night. Stop raising our score. And they're like, oh my god, so sorry. And we're like, it's fine. It's just oh wow, nice clear by Jeff. That's a bummer for Alyssa just because she had 2 scores there, hoping to keep in 1. But she's probably going to try to split this. She's lining up from the outside. You can tell she's taking her time, making sure to make the right shot. All right, so she's choosing to shoot from the inside. She shoots. Oh, no. Yeah. This court is hard. I would have shot from the outside just knowing that weird area that I've talked about. But it just depends. It's tough. Jeff, he's just trying to protect those 30 points. There's still three frames here, but let's say she splits this and then he messes up. That's only, that's 16 points she'd get. So she's going to keep trying. That's all you can do in these games. Just got to keep trying because those points add up. All right, she shoots. Ooh, she got the split. That's what she was looking for. Nice shot. Also, when you're playing players like this, you give them a second opportunity to take that shot. They're going to get it. They're going to get every second chance they get because they know exactly how much they missed by. All right, Jeff's lining up. He's going to go for the one on the right because he can score on that and maybe kitchen it. Ooh, interesting. That might be in. Let's see what he says. 2. Yeah, he's calling the 2 in. So the 2 8s are good. The kitchen is not in. It's interesting from here. It's like you kind of can't tell because it almost looks like it's touching the one. It could be, but sometimes it's enough to leave it in. All right, so still the same amount, 30 points. 73 to 43, 2 frames left. 2 equal hammers. They each get a hammer here. All right, Alyssa's lining up. She really just has to keep playing the kitchen game here. Keep varying the shots. All right, so Jeff went to clear that. I can tell by the speed and the velocity it's stayed in, though. Sometimes that happens if you don't clear it well enough. Alyssa's going to try to kitchen this. She's lining up. She shoots. No! I feel for her. That's like the same thing that just happened a frame ago. You don't want that to happen. The good thing that one isn't in the kitchen, though. I don't know. Sorry, I gotta do this. Sorry. Okay, sorry. I was interrupted by the other game is going, and they were like, "How do I hit stop?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I have to talk to the people of the internet about shuffleboard." You interrupted me, sir. So they're playing. Sorry, and that's good. Clear by Alyssa. I don't think that top 8 is in. Jeff's lining up. And it looks like he's going to nudge that. No, he's just blocking it up, leaving her nothing to kitchen. That's interesting because it's like if you clear it, you could accidentally with that, you think, oh, I'll just clear that out, no big deal. But if you leave it, then you leave the 1 for her to kitchen. It could actually knock into that black one in the back and leave you in the kitchen. Like, the accidents happen here. And then you're down negative points. She scores 18 points. All right. So I'm not exactly sure about that. Maybe she was trying to kitchen or knock it. Oh, that's what she was probably doing, trying to clear it out. So good 8 for Jeff. That, seals the lead for him. There's a significant amount of points you have to make on the last frame. It's quite difficult. So that, that last, taking that last shot to seal that extra point lead, it's important, but it's difficult because you're like, I need to make this, or I want to make this so I can win this game. Sometimes easier said than done. I've seen people kitchen themselves making that last shot. All right, so Alyssa's shooting. She's going to play the kitchen game. Jeff might even just shoot off here because he has much significant lead. Yeah, that's what he did. So something to think about. If you have enough points in the lead, you know that if they make all their points and you're still winning, you don't even have to put your biscuits on the board. But that's if you play a game that's going to end at a certain frame. If you're playing I think there's certain versions of playing shuffleboard where it's like you just have to lead by a certain amount of points, so game changes. All right. Sometimes in these games, I'll still just use them as practice. I'm like, I'm going to make that split. I'm going to end this game on a high note. I'm going to score the 10. Go for the 10. Make it. All right, well, she got the 8. See? And then on a high note, Jeff Sev wins. Great job, everybody. Thank you so much for watching Brooklyn Shuffleboard. I hope you watch the other games. The final match will be also streamed on this channel, and we'll see if Jeff wins the whole thing. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.